know it instantly.
Yeah.
And they asked me loads of questions about the business, how we started, why we started.
What's it called?
Like all kinds of questions.
Yeah.
And I had no intention of putting any of that up. So its only reason to be there was to make you believe that they'll give you a mention.
I suppose as well, if they're going to use a minute, but they only recorded a minute, like you said, you're not in the flow by then, are they? So whereas they probably give you some things that you can easily talk, or they think you can easily talk around, and then
maybe
it's really misleading. It's just misleading, isn't it?
Yeah, misleading. Yeah, very misleading.
The amount of time that we spent like talking to him, you went down and spent a day of like him looking into some girl's eyes for like 20 minutes.
Oh, it was awkward.
Just to get all the B-roll stuff.
Yeah.
She was a nice girl, but like when you've just met someone, she would have felt exactly the same way.
Awkward.
She does not want, like, literally our feet, our knees were crossed. My knee was beyond hers.
I've noticed that when they are filming for the news and things, when they kind of do
when they pan out,
they're actually in a massive room an inch away from each other, aren't they? It would make me feel fairly uncomfortable.
I always like looking at, trying to work out when the reporters just doing the responses
that happens a lot
afterwards, after they film.
But that happens in films.
Right. Well, afterwards, after we'd had our chat, I had to stand there. We had to look at each other and nod, and then look away, and then look back to each other and nod.
Just to film that.
No, mate. Like, not once. I'm talking for 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I had to write on a pad for over and over again. Just write the same sentence over and over again. By the time I'd finished, I'd scored like three or four pages of this pad. I wrote it so many times. Using a trackpad. I don't know, idea. Trackpad. It's like doing lines.
It always makes me laugh.
Just doing lines.
Like a news article about, something to do with finance, or somebody's been ripped off or whatever, and there's always a video of them in the kitchen, like, adding it up, and you think, well, you're not adding it up until just now.
I know, yeah, well, that's it, but they've hoodwinked them into doing that.
Yeah.
Because they said to me, can you go on the phone whilst you're writing? And I was like, really?
Yeah. Sell!
Really? Yeah, what?
Sell them! How much?
How much? What's he talking about? It's like, we caught up with Anthony doing business.
Business! Yeah, doing some.
I'm doing business! Synergy.
I remember years and years ago, when anything that you did to do with the internet was big. This was like when we first started, probably 1999. And there was going to be some sort of documentary on Sky One, which we never ended up doing. But talking to the producers about like what stuff could we do, and I was like, we could do a meeting, or I'm going to meet the local council, whatever it was at the time. And they were like, what car have you got? And I was like, well, I share my mum's Vauxhall Corsa. They were like, could you rent like a Ferrari or something for the day that I could then turn up in, and
just try.
I was like, but at the time though, I was like, of course I can, I'll be there, rent a Ferrari. But that's it doesn't really.
It's not real, is it?
No, it's not.
But there's somebody, I have no idea who it is. But on my Facebook, or Instagram, not Instagram, LinkedIn feed, there's a guy who looks about late 20s. He's got he's always sponsored, I don't know him. He's got sunglasses on. He's driving a nice car. The camera's never in a fixed position in the car. He's always got it on the end of his arm. That always makes me think, one, why are you driving holding a mobile phone like that?
Is he American?
American. He's got a bad beard. You can't grow a proper beard. Patchy beard, yeah.
Goatee,
and it's where goatee style thing. He's got obviously he's got the slick hair. He's constantly slicking his hair.
What's he selling?
He's talking about. I get loads of it boosting your business. If you want to earn 10k a day, this is what you need to do. And it's always talking about. No, he's out selling his services as advice and guidance, and it's nonsense. If he was making 10k a day, you wouldn't be on. You wouldn't be telling anybody about it.
He probably is, but the way he's doing it is by getting people to sign up to his online course.
That doesn't make you 10k a day. Yeah, or he might be making 10k.
He might,
but he's always on a non-fixed camera in his car, and I always think if you owned said Bentley, and you wanted to do some filming in your car, always filming in his car, you'd just install like something that would hold your phone.
Yeah. Oh, I get
Or are you in a rented Bentley and you're not allowed to stick anything to anything else? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because he's always wearing the same jacket.
But you can get suckers for GoPros and stuff. That's what they do in films. And like, you know, what's it called? The Sheriff's thing on Channel 5. Can't pay, take it away.
Yeah.
Fully addicted to that. They've got like 5 GoPros just on suckers all throughout the camp.
Yeah,
There's no reason you can't do that.
Have you seen the one where there's a guy?
Why are you addicted to that?
It depresses me.
I
feel sorry for everybody.
Yeah, it's like...
No, but it's a weird feeling of joy that you're not in that situation.
Wow, that says something about your personality.
I
it's
can't
weird.
watch it, me, because I feel bad for the people having to
No,
collect.
but it's not like the really poor people are getting evicted. They're like...
Mate,
really,
it's let's send the poor people round and can't afford it, and you're getting joy off it.
No, the businessmen who have sacked someone for no reason and then not paid out, like, thingy dismissal, constructive dismissal, whatever it is. It's when the big businesses are like, no, we're not paying. They come up and go, right, we'll take all the stuff.
There's probably a few of those.
Right,
so you're not I don't like the eviction ones where it's people getting thrown on the street.
Where it's poor people getting thrown on the street.
I'm not mental. It's the businessmen who just like, I don't need to
pay
you anything.
Sound pretty mental.
No.
There are a few of them, but every time I see it, it does always seem to be families with kids being evicted.
It's London, isn't it?
Not,
yeah, it's not that nice, is it?
Anyway, it's not a bit deep. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is, have you ever seen the one that similar to what you said, like an advert? I always see it on YouTube, although I'm a YouTube premium member now, so I forgot what adverts.
How much is that?
Business is going well.
£12 a month.
£12.
I tell you what, though, that is the best £12. Maybe more than Spotify. That's very good as well. But YouTube Premium. I watch YouTube miles more than everything else.
Tell it.
I watch YouTube more than everything else.
Maybe we should
because we was talking about one that like
can we share a membership?
YouTube is actually a search engine nowadays, isn't it? You search for whatever it is you want.
In YouTube.
But you can learn anything.
There's a lot of education. Well, I'll tell you what, the YouTube Premium, like the things they've produced, like they're trying to be a bit of a Netflix originals, aren't they, or whatever it's called. Yeah, terrible. So bad that I almost I'd pay more not to have them, just to vote, just to tell Google they're crap. Stop doing it. Just
stop wasting your money on
that. Just paying for no ads
Netflix
is brilliant.
is a bit like that.
You can download videos as well. That's the other good thing.
Netflix sort of fill. Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Because they removed that feature, didn't they? That was an add-on.
Well, I don't know whether they could.
Well, you used to be able to just copy and paste a link into
something else. You can probably still do that, but it's so much better. And you can just literally any video, download it, and then I just use that as almost like a watch later thing. But if I'm ever on the train or whatever, where you couldn't. You couldn't really get a good signal.
Might be worth getting.
It's well worth it. Anyway, I was only going to say, there's a bloke, and you might have
I'm watching adverts.
12 quid.
12 quid, I'm watching adverts. I don't watch the adverts anyway, I eat the corner.
Let me tell you the 2 times when that doesn't work. I watch a lot of YouTube in the bath, and you can't, things are wet, so you can't press next, and I end up having to watch adverts. And I'm on the...
Some of the YouTube adverts as well are like... Some of them are... One of them's popped up on mine that was 3 hours. A 3-hour advert.
Oh, there's a thing and it's Stephen Fry reading a book, and it's the whole book.
It's a whole book. There's loads of stuff that's over an hour.
Because they think, you can skip it, so it doesn't matter. If you're in the bath with wet hands, you can't.
Yeah.
If you're in a 3-hour bath, mate, you're
well, I don't want the entire bath to be an advert, do I? I want to get on to the next video.
He says, could they allow you to have clickable adverts? Because what we should do is we should have a clickable advert that counts down skip ad 5, 4, 3 quicker than it does, and have that box
as
the link to your site.
Don't forget that.
But
basically clickbait, ultra clickbait.
Ultra clickbait. People thinking they're skipping ad.
But I'm determined to get to my point.
Go on.
Which will be crap now.
Sorry.
But have you ever seen the advert? And it's a guy walking through a trade show in China somewhere, and he's going on about starting an e-commerce or a web business or something, an online business, and how much money he'll make and how good it is. And he says, but the thing is, every time I speak to people about online businesses, they give me, the top 3 reasons why they all say they can't do it. And he's like, reason 1 is that you have to come to a place like this in this trade show in China. Well, the two things about that. One is, I've spoken to loads of people about online business. Nobody's ever said, but I need to go to a trade show in China before I can start. It's literally never come up. And the other thing is, he is there. So what's he wasting his time? His whole point is, you don't have to do this, what I'm doing. Well, don't do
why
it.
are you doing
doing
it? Yeah.
Totally. It does me head in every time I see that video.
Yeah.
That's my number one reason for subscribing to YouTube Premium. So I don't have to see his face
What's his
walking
name?
through that trade.
Adverts are getting worse though, aren't they? Because there's an advert on telly at the moment for Oral-B, and they've got like an actress to say, I didn't even know Oral-B did toothpaste.
Yeah, I know
it's
about
like,
that. What
it's the
else
only
do
thing they do.
What else do they do?
They're like the market leader in toothpaste. Ah!
Yeah,
It's so
it does-
frustrating.
That really does do my head in.
But it's like, let's just make something up.
But do you not notice that your adverts change depending on what you've been searching for?
Yeah, of course
and
they do,
the
yeah.
videos you've been watching.
But it also changes. I'm sure it changes based on what your linked profiles say. About
what
it.
you've
So
been watching.
On
yeah.
YouTube, yeah.
Yeah,
Anything in your Google account.
anything in your
probably has
Google
an effect.
account. So if you've Googled business insurance, next thing you know, you get.
The thing is, you don't like it when it comes to adverts, but when you go on, this is the main reason probably why I spend so much time on YouTube, because on the homepage, it's really good at picking out videos. To the point where one of our TVs has got, I'm logged in on YouTube, so the kids will watch a video of theirs, and
And it'll pollute yours.
and I have to go through the history and delete all the things the kids have watched, because it's that recommendations thing is
algorithm.
It's really good.
It's
yeah.
really good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It is
Yeah, it
good.
shows you things in the vein of what you want. But you can also watch channels that are super niche on YouTube that you just cannot get on TV.
Yeah.
Well, for us with like video stuff, there's loads of stuff about how to set up rigs and do you know what I mean?
Oh,
How
is there
to
anything
stuff,
like
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
How to edit this particular style and it's.
Well, you do
loads
it in your own life, don't you? I mean, I do the swimming now. So, like...
Oh, wow,
yeah.
here we go.
I love swimming.
How long? What time is it?
I've got into...
It's 8
right.
minutes past 11.
I've
right?
got
Let's
back
say how long
into
it takes.
swimming.
Right.
Right.
But...
Be bored for the next.
Right, I've got back into swimming.
If this is actually in the podcast, should people skip forward? Or
Yeah,
should we put a time scan?
If you're listening to the podcast, just
Skip
skip
forward
about
4.5 hours.
You're not
So
bothered
I
with
have-
current swimming technique.
So I'm probably on about 5
Might
podcasts
leave
already.
for a bit.
You know what? I've listened to all your podcasts, I think, and I've not heard you mention
No,
swimming.
Right.
because it's new.
They're the
Yeah,
lads
it's
that think
very
they're
new.
now.
All he does is
Over the past
listen
like
to us.
3 months or
Right,
something, I've
right.
been
New
like
technique.
swimming. So I used to swim more when I was a kid, and then I've got back into swimming because of like taking the kids. And I go on YouTube to sort of get swimming tips off like Olympic gold medalists.
Yeah.
And it's miles better to be
Yeah, then.
have a tutorial from somebody who's like really top of the game.
Yeah.
Isn't
I can give you-
isn't there a thing? Isn't there like a website called Masterplan or something where they do that is the thing? Like they have Score Casey doing like a screenwriting workshop.
Oh,
or something.
um,
What's it called?
Well,
Oh,
they're
I
the
know,
things that
yeah,
I always
you
get
can
out
go
of it,
for-
so
Like
it's like
Jay-Z doing like
Brilliant and Skillshare. Is it not one of those?
Yeah,
It's not
something
skills,
like-
it's called Masterpiece or something like that.
But it's
where
like the top people in the
top
world
people
doing
in that
the
industry.
class.
Yeah.
Do it, yeah, we're in a class, yeah.
So it's like that.
Well, YouTube
But you don't
is, isn't
pay for
it?
it. You
But
don't pay for it.
well, they're earning their own money off their own channels, so
Every time I went swimming, I've been swimming quite a bit. Me and Antonia go to the gym after she's got the
who's
kids.
banging on about swimming now?
Yeah, like,
No. It's barely such a service, yeah.
It is a YouTube / swimming related thing that every time I'm doing breaststroke, and I always think, my technique is not good. I did all the lessons when I was younger, and then I've just done whatever I'm doing. And every time when I'm in the swimming bath, I think I'm going to watch a YouTube video about this.
Well, that's what I did.
Because I'm in the swimming bath and I have no way of writing
You
it
can't
down,
do
I
it.
forgot. Literally every time I've been swimming for the last 2 years, I've thought I'll watch a YouTube video.
Well, I've started
and
watching
I don't.
YouTube videos. I'm much quicker now.
Right.
Without using nearly as much energy, which is just like, look at you. Look at you, like losing the will to live.
So you're going to tell them about your technique.
I'm not going to tell you about technique.
Show him.
Come on, I'm intrigued.
No, you're obviously
Show me
taking
your
the net. I'm not
technique.
showing it.
No,
I'm not
just-
a fool.
Well, what's changed?
The kicks change from when you was like a kid. So I was taught to kick with sort of like you bring your legs up, push your knees out, and kick with the bottom of your foot like a frog.
Right.
So that's all changed.
Is
Well,
this
that-
breaststroke?
Breaststroke,
Because the
yeah.
funny thing is, Camilla, who is our in charge of user experience at the company that we might mention at some point in this podcast. She is Dutch, or she's spent a lot of time in Holland, and she calls breaststroke the frog. And maybe they know something we don't. And
well, I was always taught to swim like the kick is like a frog. So you bring your knees up, you push your knees out to the side, and then you kick with the bottom of the sole of your foot, basically like a frog.
Yeah.
And then almost like jump in the water back to being your legs straight. Whereas now, you sort of like have your knees at a 45. Instead of bringing your knees up, you bring your heels up.
Show him.
You bring your heels up like that, and then you turn your feet out like that.
I've been doing
so you're using the outside.
And then you use sort of like your leg and the inside of your foot then to whip your feet back down. I swim
Channels.
I swim Atlantic, there and back. I swim Orford.
Where's that?
It's where, you know where Fulton Leisure used to be?
Oh yeah.
The decathlon thing there. And I swim there.
Is that, have they redone that swimming pool?
Yeah. It's been up. It's a new leisure centre. I think it's been up for a few years. It's been up for maybe like 5 or 10 years or something.
Fairly new, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's reasonably new. Whereas our bridge is like it's not changed. It's always.
Yeah, somebody mentioned our bridge to me, and I haven't been for years, but
it's exactly the same.
That's exactly what.
It's exactly the same.
They've done it all up and not the pool.
Not the pool, yeah.
Which doesn't make sense, but there you go.
It is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, you find a lot of hotels do that though. I stay at a place in
expensive
Wembley,
to
and the hotel's underground, and the hotel, it's a Holiday Inn, I think. Everything from the ground floor up is brand new, really immaculate and everything, really good finish. And then you go downstairs to the pool, and it's like you've gone back 100 years, and it's never even been scrubbed in that time. It's incredible the difference. You'd think even just send someone down with a toothbrush and scrub all the grout.
It must just be dead expensive. Because I know they are, like, when the pool's out of action, you're not making any money off the pool, are you? So, to redo it.
I wonder as well, a lot of hotels make the money because they've got gym members, but that's probably in a bit of a weird place where you wouldn't use that as a gym. Like, it's not as houses that close to it, or...
How Bridge?
No, the one I'm on about.
The one you're on about. I was going to say,
it's not like an obvious
redoing all the
place
gym there, yeah.
Yeah,
but Orford's nice. If you go to
Orford,
go swimming.
We've covered swimming.
We've covered swimming in the.
We've only covered the kick of breaststroke.
Yeah, let's not go any deeper.
We haven't covered like.
I like it, man.
Let's not go any deeper. I think. Should we talk about your business?
Should we actually start?
Should we start? Yeah. Well, we can use all of that. So
we can use all of it. Yeah, but we haven't officially started. Have we?
People like listening, so
it's like an intro.
So, do you want to talk about HallNet, like in general, and all the stuff HallNet does, or do you want to talk about active housing first? How you started?
Do you want me to give you a very, very quick rundown? But then I don't mind talking about, Do you
know what? I actually don't know what's gone on because you used to be just HallNet.
Yeah.
We've always known
I'll
you
give
for
you
years.
I'll give you the lowdown on that, and then
that.
what I thought would be good is I've listened to all your existing podcasts, and some of the things might be just contribute to.
All right.
When I was listening to it, I was like,
I was thinking I can bring some value to this.
I would have said this sentence.
Right, yeah. So do you want to recap
all
the podcast?
I did say it when I was in the car, but you weren't responding to me on the.
No, it's not an interactive podcast. Yeah.
So I'll give you the lowdown. So basically, 21 years ago now, when I was at high school.
Were you still at school when you started?
Yeah. I was 15, I think. And at the time, some people were on the internet, but it was like a big thing.
Yeah,
the quality didn't have to be high. You just had to
be there.
Be there basically. So we did a few websites for a few local businesses and things, and I don't really, it was just a vehicle for. I just enjoyed doing it. That's what we did.
So when did you learn all that?
I'll tell you.
Where was your interest peaked for all that?
I basically went on a trip to Australia. Well, actually, years before, and I don't want these to turn into you know,
This is your
full
life.
biography, isn't
This
it?
is
Which
your
I was hoping for it to be a 1 minute.
We've not got a red book. We've got a red cushion.
So, basically, I've always been, from when I was really, really young, my brother was interested in programming. And I remember once him showing me something in Turbo Pascal. And he showed it me
Right.
one evening, and then I had to go to bed because I was about 8 or something, and I had school the next day. But I remember getting up really, really early so that I could have a play with it. And then, you know, I just loved that whole thing. So I've always been into it. But to be honest, I didn't really know what I was doing, and I didn't, you know, I was just messing about with it. Then I had a trip to Australia, and on the way to Australia, I read a book called Sam's Teach Yourself CGI Programming in a Week. But it's 22 hours on a plane, so I just read the book in that time.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything else to do. And then on the way back...
Yeah, no iPads or anything.
No, that was it, nothing. I think I watched Flubber with Bill Murray.
Oh, wow, yeah. Wow, that's some time ago.
It was some time ago. So this is when I was like probably, well, it must have been 15. Then when I was there, I bought a book called Learning Perl. I read that on the way back. And then when I got back, I spent the whole time I was in Australia thinking, I can't wait to get back on my computer and have a go at it. Kind of made it, you know, if I was at home, I wouldn't have read all those books in one go. No. And I'd have kind of probably read a little bit and tried a bit, but I couldn't do anything. It made it, you know, I was really looking forward to getting back to the computer. Anyway, so that's how I got into it. And then, you know, I did a few things for myself, did a few things for local businesses. Then after school, you know, when I finished school, I was supposed to be going to college. In fact, they're probably still expecting me there because I applied and I just didn't turn up. Because in between school and college, we got, you know, what at the time was a big job for local government. I think it was the local Chamber of Commerce, but something for them. And we actually hired somebody, obviously, that you know. I don't want to mention names, although I've already broke that rule once. But we hired somebody, and then, you know, for probably 10 years, the business, and over that time, we probably hired 1 or 2 more people. But it was basically a vehicle for me and them to be contractors. So we, you know, it wasn't a business in its own right. It was, you know, we did that. But then we kind of, in doing that contract work, we kind of stumbled upon, really, we won a small tender for a housing association, and we kind of stumbled on that sector. It was quite, I think it's fair to say, behind the times. You know, it was there was a lot of stuff that was obviously, you know, needed to be disrupted. And also, the thing, I've said this many times, but recruitment was probably the biggest sector that we had experience in. And in recruitment, you know, you can work with one company, they don't want you working with the competitors. They ideally want you to sign an NDA, you know, they don't want to give you a reference. They're very competitive with each other. Social housing, completely the opposite. They want to learn from each other. They love giving references and doing site visits and that sort of thing. So it's much easier to kind of develop a market. So even though actually, you know, there's nothing in, we did some, what I think was good work in recruitment as well and other sectors. Social housing was we became known for it, and in the last 5 or 6 years, 100% of our focus in terms of marketing has been on social housing and local government, and that's really where now it is a business. What we want to become more of a product business. We're probably about 60-70% bespoke and about 30-40% product at the moment. But the aim is to be a business with products and probably to flip those numbers around. So that's where we are now. I think we've got 30 staff at the moment. We've got thereabouts.
They all active housing.
No, so
active housing is the product.
Yeah, well, active housing is everything that we do in social housing, products or bespoke, is called active housing.
Right.
Then the products, we've got active repairs, active portal.
Right. Okay.
It is a bit confusing. To be honest with you.
Well, no, it's not. You've got
It is
trading name of active housing.
But if you think of like the conference, you know, when people were thanking HallNet, active housing, they talk about repairs. I would say, with hindsight, if we were starting from scratch, HallNet you wouldn't have.
Separate them.
You know, you'd have one brand and it would be clearer.
Yeah.
But that's not the way it's developed. So that's where we are.
So, what's your experience been like with the housing associations? Has there been the uptake, like once you've got one, they talk to their other friends who are at another? And
Yeah,
it's
so, I mean, it's kind of one of the things that I was going to mention that you talked about. Because I remember being in the situation that you described, really, which is people want you to come and visit them. And it costs a lot of money. You don't really know what you're getting out of it. I've been in exactly the same situation where you turn up and it obviously isn't the right person, someone might come in halfway through and you think, well, I've tailored this presentation to explain to you the whole thing. If you catch the back end of it. So I've had all of those frustrations. And I don't really have an answer.
No, there is one, is there? There is one.
There isn't one.
Every industry is different as well, because like we've had meetings with council areas and people don't know why they're in the meeting.
Oh, there's a lot of that. And
I've been told to come.
Yeah, what is it?
What's it about? The thing that I was going to say is that, so we just persevered. There wasn't any. We didn't have any kind of magic. We just kept doing it. The sector's probably a bit narrower than what you were looking at. So it's repairs. Repairs I'm talking about specifically. We do a lot of other things, but for it's repairs, in social housing. So, before long you find that actually you've spoke to a lot of people, and, a previous meeting that I went to recently, I think there were 4 people in the meeting, and all from different, one of them worked at somewhere that we'd done a demo to, one of them had worked at one of our customers, one of them had seen a demo of our system at a user group, and one of them had asked another supplier who to use, and it said us.
Right.
So all the 4 people from that organisation
all had a touch
point. Ended up, So I think we've reached a point where, at the very least, people have heard of us.
Yeah, you have some sort of saturation within that area, don't you? There. Even
and
if it's only
from a business perspective, because
everyone
else is doing the sales. Do you have any salespeople?
Somebody's doing it full time, aren't they? But I would say that what we do is, we'll probably maybe not, if there's somebody who's got some time available, we'll probably offer a really, good deal if you start now or whatever, whereas when they're not, we might go, start in 3 months, and, things will go through the process slower because there's only that one person focusing on sales, whereas, in the slower times, that there's not.
Because you don't have people just sat around twiddling the thumbs. You've got no work on.
Yeah. Well, we're in a lucky position though, where we've got quite a lot of kind of work that either, because when it's product development, we can speed that up and slow that, and slow that down. So there might be a backlog of features that we want to add to our products. Well, if we do, we do, and if we don't, or if that slows down, it's not the end of the world. But don't get me wrong, that's probably our biggest challenge is having all the right people to work on the right jobs, and customers getting you the right information when to fit in with your plans. That side of it is probably our biggest issue. Really.
So what's really worked for you marketing wise with your active housing stuff? What sort of strategies have you used to get the message out there, and what's converted best?
To be honest, I think tenacity has been the biggest one. It is just about being. So one thing is, there's a lot of conference. They love a good conference in social housing, and I'm you've known me for a long time. I'm not when we used to do kind of networking meetings and things like that. I'm not the kind of person that really relishes that.
No.
But again, because it's a fairly niche sector, you get to know the people who are going to be at all the events, and I find that much easier because you get introductions from people.
It's not a cold start, is it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And do they tend to stay in the jobs quite a long time?
You do get people moving out of sector, and one of the fashions at the moment is that I think they realise that they're a bit stale, and I've noticed job ads for like a new IT manager will specifically say we want out of sector experience, so you get new people coming in. But having said that, a lot of people move around between different organisations, and again, that does us a favour sometimes. In fact, the worst thing is when you develop a good relationship with somebody and then they move out of the sector.
Well, we've had that with...
quite a lot, don't we?
Well, we had. The biggest one was the biggest contract that we were trying to go for to date. We had a great relationship with the guy at the council. It was going to be a potential great, like grain baking for us, that we could take people on, and then he retired.
Yeah,
so
that's
just everything gets dropped.
Just evaporates, doesn't it?
Yeah, within thin
But there's like anything like social housing as well. When you're non-compete sectors,
The pressure's off.
there is pressure off. Yeah, it's like councils as well.
Councils is a bit competitive, though. I think from our experience.
I would say social housing is, but and maybe councils are like this. It's more competitive for prestige than it is for income.
Yeah.
And that does you a favour because, you know,
Being
if
the
you've
first.
done they want to be the first
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
X and they
Yeah.
don't mind talking about it. So, you know, it is competitive. Not to say it's not competitive, probably wrong, but not in the same
No, but
way as
they're
a
being
private
they're being compared. I mean, in the private sector, you've got that competition because if you don't win the jobs, then the business makes cutbacks, people lose their jobs, and the business folds. So there's a lot more stress is put on the sales team closing the deal. Whereas with a council or somewhere where who's in a non-compete, you know, if you're not on like commission-based earnings, if you're on a salary, it doesn't matter whether you have a good week or a bad week. Your salary's coming in, and if you've got fixed government funds coming in year on year, then it creates an environment.
And your customers effectively are the people that live in the area, and they're not really moving in or out of an area based on the local authority, are they, in the short term anyway?
No, so there's like that poses. It's nicer to sell to, isn't it? Because people are nicer. They're a little bit less.
Oh, it's a lovely industry. I mean, apart from anything else, it's nice that the ultimate goal is to benefit, the residents. And it is also what's nice is in the last few years they had so they had to cut rents 1% a year in England for over a few years, which made a big difference to people. And it was all about how do we save money and how do we, what can we squeeze. And I would say it's turning around a little bit into we actually just want to make things better for residents. And our message a few years ago was all about how do you save money with technology. Now it's like your tenants want to do things online.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't they be able to? They can in the private sector. Why aren't you giving them that service that's
So do you do stuff private as well?
Well, we do. Not so much in housing. I think the thing about the private housing sector, it's much smaller organisations serving, but more of them. So a big letting agent might manage a few hundred properties, but that would be a tiny housing association.
Would they buy off-the-shelf stuff from you then? Would that be more tailored towards their...
To be honest, it's not an area that we've done a great deal in at the moment. Obviously, we do a lot of private sector work, but not private letting agents at the moment. Maybe that's something that we should look at. But
I suppose it's less of a need for it. If you've got a smaller portfolio,
exactly,
it's easier to manage the issues as they arise.
So we don't do a great deal of work, and I would like to change this. I would like to do some smaller housing associations, but the ones that we work with are probably 4,000 or 5,000 properties and above.
Yeah.
So, and the sweet spot being maybe 10 to 20,000 size. Which there aren't that many in lettings. There are some big private sector, and there are some like places for people who have a lot of. They do private sector and they do social housing as well. So maybe there'll be more of that in the future, but at the moment it's mostly the social side.
So what else is in the pipeline then for active housing? What is your sort of next 5 years? How does it look?
Well, there's a lot of... So I think in terms of kind of repairs and all the bog standard services, I think we've got a really good platform for doing those things online. I think the big things in the future will be, obviously all of our platform is geared towards doing things on a mobile or on a desktop or whatever. We have got we've got an Alexa skill. We've got a kind of automated contact system, so you could ring it up and do using Amazon's kind of technology. You could do that, but they're not huge at the moment.
No.
I think that those sorts of things
growth
will
area
become
around there.
will be
It's a growth area.
Voice definitely will be.
Voice stuff. But I think it works really well for some transactions and not well for others. And I think at the moment that's where the sector is. It's kind of
people haven't made the jump, have they? And although it looks like people might make the jump over to voice, unless they've actually done it. Because at one point it looked like people were going to make the jump over to 3D tellies, and that just evaporated, didn't it?
It's true. I do think the voice is in so many places.
It's already sort of like it's already on telephone systems when
Exactly,
you're in, like there is already.
So I think voice as an interface will be big. Exactly how? Maybe it won't be that we'll all have echoes and echo dots. Maybe it'll just be integrated into your telly or into your phone. I've got an iPhone 11, and I don't even want to say it, but you can say a phrase and it'll hear you and start, and start piping up, won't it? So maybe that's how it'll go. But however it ends up, I do think voice will be big. The question is it ever going to be as quick to diagnose a repair by describing it as it is to do it, and by uploading a picture and or whatever? I don't know, but at the moment it isn't.
Yeah, I mean it's the amount of detail that you'd have to go into.
I
suppose you just have to do that. It's just you'd have that as a Dropbox with tick.
You're not trying to replace an expert because you're not going to be able to do that.
No, but
you might be able to sort of like triage it a little bit.
You could. Well, I'm just saying the online tool that we've got is pretty good, and we have got to the point over all the time of being able to pretty accurately diagnose something. But you can use images. The example that anybody who's seen me do a demo of it will know is one of our questions in our kind of demo content is the problem with it, say it's a leaking tap, is it a pillar tap or a mixer tap? Now I didn't know that separate taps were called pillar taps. But online you can show a picture of a pillar tap and a mixer tap, it's obvious. But is that
sort of like terminology that you wouldn't necessarily know.
Yeah, it's not common knowledge, is it really?
No, it's just a tap, innit? You just
so things like that, but that's where we'll definitely, that's a big growth area.
But if the housing industry is a bit behind technology times, that's going to be like way in the future, isn't it?
Well, I don't know.
What's the sort of saturation of the market
I
for
said
online?
that it was behind the times in technology, but I would say in some ways it's now becoming.
Well, you've changed that if you've created technology for the sector, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely not just us, but a few companies, and we are one of them, have changed that. Have brought things forward, and I mentioned that getting people from outside the sector, those people coming in. I think I spoke to one who was a kind of an IT manager, but his previous job was finance, and I can't think where he worked, but. Obviously they're all, everything's trying to push everybody online and that sort of thing. Of course, he's come in and immediately thinks, why can't?
Well, yeah, because he's coming and sort of like somebody said, oh well, when they ring up, you make notes and you pass them on to. And he's probably thinking, what? Why have we just not got a system in place here that removes all of this?
So I think the expectations have got high. So it's partly because some companies like us have turned up and shown people what's possible, and it's partly because people aren't accepting, social housing being behind so much. So I would say it's changing, and I hope that it swaps and social housing ends up being, the leader, not the follower. And IoT is another big one, not one that we, that perhaps that might be a bit outside of the scope of us, but having automated kind of error messages on boilers so that the housing association knows what's gone wrong in your property before you do. That'll be big. Again, a little bit like with voice, there are a few things that people have to work out. I mean, since you're not the resident, to what extent can you monitor what they're doing in their property? People talk about, well, if they haven't switched any lights on and off for 24 hours, perhaps they've had
telecare stuff.
But
what point does it become snooping on someone?
Exactly. I think we've not quite worked that one out yet.
I don't think this is an issue
that's.
I don't think it's an issue that's specific to social housing, is it? I think everybody's discussing it now because technology's moving so quick that laws are so outdated already. Even laws that passed 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago are like. Behind.
But I'll give you,
it's like this GDPR stuff, it's come out.
About something that's not GDPR.
GDPR is like the most boring subject in the world.
Literally is.
Yeah.
Literally is the most boring.
It is.
So are you thinking of setting up any more businesses? Are you going to stretch yourself and even Holnet, active housing? What else? What would you, if you could set up one business tomorrow, what would you set up?
What would I set up?
both of you. So
Well,
what
let
would
me.
you sell first?
I might have mentioned this to one of you two. I'm certainly not in.
I can't give away my gold dust
golden
Your
idea.
jelly bean idea
Selling
of selling jelly beans.
Yeah.
Oh, I did have another
Mail
idea
subscription.
Mail order jelly beans.
on the way to London the other day, which was that the train's pretty good to London, an hour and 50 minutes. I'm not doing this idea incidentally.
No.
No one will want to, but if they did, I'll be a customer. And I always thought, the train's expensive. You can only get it from certain places. Not too bad for me to go to Runcorn. And it only drops you off. It's Euston. That's it. That's where you're going. But
I know what you're going to say.
I wouldn't get a coach because it's dear.
I know what you're going to say.
What? Well, what I was going to say is
I was going to say drop and roll, bouncy castle stations.
That's exactly not what I was going to say.
Oh right.
I don't even know that.
where the train just comes to a reasonable slow.
Oh,
and you have like a catch zone.
No, that's
cheaper.
That's definitely
jump
not
off.
what I was going to say.
Rolling stop.
Rolling, yeah, just constant rolling.
Now you've said
Convertible
it, actually,
carriages.
That's a good idea. No, what I was
Why
going to say
shouldn't
is,
you be able to sit
have you
outside?
ever seen?
Double carriages like in Holland.
Yeah.
They have bigger trains, don't they, in other countries? But have you ever seen like the new kind of first class seats in airplanes where they you totally kind of sealed into a little, or you can close it off.
That they have at BBC.
It's like a little pod, yeah, exactly like that.
Them
But
big
I mean, I've never travelled first class.
I haven't.
Business must
No,
have gone
no.
I haven't, but I've
Oh
just
right,
seen
yeah, I
it
know what
on
you're saying.
YouTube.
Yeah, you see this.
You get a nice comfy
The
seat.
mate said.
business.
You can do
Yeah,
whatever.
a friend of mine
Yeah.
tells me that.
So imagine a coach.
Really? No, bro.
Imagine a coach. The light's interrupted, not thing.
yeah, done it.
It's done.
Imagine a coach, but instead of it being coach seats and you're crammed in and all of that, it's 20 kind of
Pods.
First class.
Perhaps
pods.
you could have a couple of people in there, or 4 people in there, or whatever. So you can have a meeting, you can do some work. It's a nice environment, and then it doesn't matter if it takes. It's not the time doesn't actually matter, does it? As much as could pick, because they're only a coach. It's a lot cheaper than a train, and you can have a lot more of them. It could pick you up from town centres, couldn't it? From places that don't have train stations. I know it's a terrible idea and nobody will ever do it, but that's like a dream of mine that I'd love to be able to.
It's not a terrible idea, is it?
Didn't someone we know who's got an office near us have a mate who runs BBC executives from?
He bought a van off him.
He's got like one of these posh Mercedes.
Yeah, almost. That's kind of what I mean.
Instead of sending them on trains, they go on these, and he gets like 4 or 5 executives, and he picks them up from London, takes them to Salford Quays.
Yeah.
But you're not then on train times. It's private.
It's private.
You can have
conversations.
You have conversations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Right.
The driver
kind
will
of
be
like a limo, but it's more of a coach, more of a van or a coach.
But the driver will be under NDA and whatever. Like they'll have signed NDAs to get contracts and things like that. So they can't go blabbing about.
So I'm definitely not doing that, but that was something that I thought about.
It would be a good idea.
It is a good idea. Yeah.
Businesses for trains to do, and all the trains will be changing soon. All the contracts will be up. Virgin's up soon.
I don't know. To be fair, I think it's really good. I'm on that Virgin to Euston.
Monday to Friday, first class is banging.
Mm.
It's because you can get your breakfast on the
Sometimes
weekends.
it's cheaper than the.
But yeah, if you book further enough in advance.
Yeah, it
Sometimes
can be
it's like
cheaper,
more or less
but it's
or a
quite
tenner
often
difference.
not that much difference.
Yeah.
And if
But if you go at the weekend, you don't get food, do you?
No, I went on a Sunday the other day and I was a bit disappointed, and also I couldn't get into the lounge at Runcorn because I don't know, it was shut or something. So basically, it was just a better seat, but you do get a table for every seat's got a table.
Yeah.
So it is more very often worth the difference. So I'm not knocking that. It's pretty good, that Virgin Pendolino thing.
It's quite busy in the morning, Monday to Friday.
Yeah,
a lot busier than you'd expect it to be.
But the prices are what
You can reasonably get there and back the same day though, can't you? It makes London.
It's like these businesses that go on the day and try and get an open return. It's like 400 quid. It's like, what planet are you on?
Yeah, but I think if you booked an open return, but a lot in advance. I suppose maybe it's 400 quid doesn't matter to some people, does it? But the convenience matters more. But
you could get that taxi service 400 quid. Get an Uber, couldn't you? Luxury Uber
but it
to
wouldn't
London
get
and back.
you from Runcorn to London an hour and 50.
No, it wouldn't.
400 quid. I'll take you London 400 quid.
I'll do it for 399.
But yeah, on a more serious note, I mean, just time-wise, you know, things are, you know, we're growing, and I'm spending all my time doing this, and that's, I would be daft to do something else at this moment in time. However, from a kind of outside business point of view, I did want to just have something else to kind of focus on and help out. Now, I don't want to do this full time, but you know, Lee Hackspace. There isn't anything like that in Widnes that I know of. And I'd love somebody to set something like that up
and support it.
I'd be more than happy to support it, you know, to help out, but I haven't got the time, and I think I'd be doing it a disservice to try and do that myself. I did kind of try and think, you know, should I try and, you know, on Facebook or whatever, see if there are a few people that are interested, you know, and I'll help. And I don't mind doing like a code club, because that's another thing that I've been looking into doing, you know, for like my kind of 8-year-old age. There is one in Widnes, and I think it's at the library, and I did think about volunteering for that, but I think the fact that it's at the library, you know, it's
a bit of a disservice.
Exactly. So if there was something more like the Hackspace that was around.
So I how you go about setting one up. I mean,
well, I did contact. Is he a doctor or somebody who runs?
Oh, he's gone. He went ages ago.
Yeah,
must have been somebody else. Must have been somebody else. But I contacted.
You better off setting up like a CI, and then speaking to the council area and seeing if they've got any like funding for small community groups.
Yeah.
Because or sometimes council areas, particularly like in Wigan and Leigh, they have like very cheap or even free, depending on what kind of community like interest company you've got. If it's something like that's purely for a community, they might have a unit that's available. But
that's the sort of thing that we do.
You don't want to be jammed into the library.
Kind of almost phase one is before that, which is try and find. I know that I haven't got the time to do it myself.
Yeah.
So phase one is try and find, you know, 2 or 3 people who are keen and interested in doing it. Then we could, between us, move to phase 2, which would be
this is very, like, you can tell you've been in business a lot, because you're selling this
phased approach
you're selling this phased approach, and the fact that instantly it's your idea, but you've managed to pass it off all the doing on to somebody else. You've delegated. Really, what I'm looking at doing is setting this up, but not setting any of it up. Maybe just going down on a Tuesday night.
I think it's more that I'm realistic about what I've got time for.
Yeah. You'd just like to see something like that.
I don't mind putting time in. I don't even mind putting some money in, you know, as a sponsoring it or something. But I know that I can't be there every night, you know, and it would need people to do that. So if I can't find people to do it, I might as well think of a different idea, because I'm not doing it. So that's why that's my step one.
There must be somebody within that area, though, that's...
Well, I don't know. I might just put a message on Facebook or whatever and say, look, I'm thinking of something along these lines. Is anyone interested in Absolute Widnes? And old Widnes photos.
Yeah.
And just seeing, you know...
Do you know what, though? You might... It sounds daft, but stuff like old Widnes photos, you might find some people on there that are retired and have time to do that.
The best sort of post that you could put is, I'm interested in doing this, who would be interested? I want to gauge interest, who would be interested in it?
No, because that would show people going, oh, I would come to this, wouldn't it?
But then you've got evidence base if you wanted to take it to the council and go, look, there's...
But you know...
We need volunteers, we need people who are actually interested, so I know it's worthwhile for setting up.
Yeah,
because people do that. People did that about.
You're saying that part of your evidence would be, well, I've got 50 people here who said they'd come. Yeah.
Well, there was a guy who set up that zero waste shop in Leigh. Like, if I set up this shop in Leigh, who would come? And he had like thousands of comments. So it's like, right, there's the need there, set up, and it's doing well. So it's almost like testing the water, and it's engagement about, oh, I'm interested in doing this. People go,
and a few people. That is probably what I'll do, but just time-wise, I've not even got to that stage of putting that on yet. But that, you know, so to answer your question, I can't see myself doing another business or anything like that at the moment. But I would like to do something that's a bit more.
You've got enough on your plate at the moment, haven't you? I think that's the key to it.
And cut.